And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Come on, motherfucker. What the fuck? And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And as you guys know, we have a special guest today, the son of Mark Breland. Anthony Breland will be coming in shortly. We have Ray Khan, salute. Joshua Littlejohn, counterpunch to you, brother. Halim Boston in the house. Lady Sean, done dim season bars. Mike Hunt, counterpunch. Nobody's fool. Welcome to the club. Nobody's fool. You won't be. Check out the community. We are live. So, Karma Serene, always here, live and in charge. I hope you got power down the road. Andre Rodriguez, counterpunch to you. Jim Brown, just heard from him. He will be here shortly. So let's chop it up a bit. So I don't know if you guys seen the scheduled interview was for 9:20. Okay, so I know people were waiting for a long time, but I do apologize. It was for 9:20. People had things to do, so we had to postpone. But we set the schedule for 9:20. Maybe you guys didn't see it or whatnot. You should have seen the countdown on YouTube. So YouTube should have done their job. Hopefully they did. I seen the countdown, but I'm not sure if you guys did. Ark Ash, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. I hope everybody is safe because over here we have one of the biggest ice storms that Texas has ever seen. So, I don't know. Easy bands, Kurt, you're becoming a big player in the new media. Hey, I try, man. I love what I do. I love to counterpunch. I love to get down to business. And the sport that I love that I hate so much, of course, is boxing. So, we are waiting for the special guest. How's everybody doing tonight? And Anthony Breland is here. We're going to bring him on. Anthony, can you hear me, boss?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Let's do this.
Yeah. How you doing? All right. Oh, you muted. You're muted.
There we go. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Hot mic. Anthony Breland, what's going on, brother?
What's good, bro? What's up? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Man. I appreciate you jumping on the live stream. We are now here live, so you can touch each platform to give us your side of the story. I hope everybody's safe where you're at. Are you up in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's in the house. Yeah, I worked up in Brooklyn a while back. So nice town. Everybody's good that way.
Yeah, everything's good.
That's good, man. So, man, we got a lot to talk about. We got you live. It's a little late for the audience because a lot of the guys are in the UK, but we're waking up.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Are you an amateur? Have you thought about going professional or?
Yeah, I've thought about going professional, but I do other things as well. So I don't know how far I'm gonna go with boxing yet, but
Right.
I am doing it. You know, the Corona stuff. This really messed up a lot for me. So
Yeah.
not really
Yeah,
sure
definitely.
now. But you know, just trying to hang in there right now. To be honest.
Yeah, man, it's a pain in the ass when you have to go to a gym and wear a mask. That's not
Yeah.
natural.
And then
You know what I mean?
the sweat's
'Cause,
dripping down and the mask and stuff. It's like there's no point in wearing
yeah,
it.
there's no point of wearing it. You're inhaling what you're supposed to be putting out.
Exactly.
I don't know how healthy that is, man. We're gonna have some problems.
Exactly. You're supposed to be breathing in the good air and breathing out the bad air.
Right. Absolutely. Man, tell me, when did you find out about the fuckery? Like, when did you first find out about, like, yo, what?
Yo, it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie. After we had a big fight party.
Right.
We had a big fight party. You know what I mean? Because you know my dad, he's training him and everything. So we just after the fight, we like I already knew, yo, he's done. It's done. Because I'm like, man, soon as he made that first excuse, the costume, which he said he didn't say, but he did say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn. I'm like, wow, okay. And then he made another excuse. What's the second excuse he made after that?
The second excuse was it was the costume. Then I believe
That's the first one we heard, right?
yeah, that was the first one, the costume. But the second one it was the glove gate.
It was a glove gate.
And somewhere in there.
Yeah. Wow. And then, as soon as I saw that spiked water, I was like, yeah, my dad's job is done.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, it really don't even matter. My dad, honestly, my dad found out kind of late. I told him myself. He's just like, man, it is what it is. He wasn't really emotional about it. He was just like, okay, man, I can't do nothing about it.
Right. Well, at that point, though, Wilder didn't say anything himself, so we just heard a lot of rumors.
Just heard a lot of rumors and stuff, basically.
Yeah, so that was uncertain. And then that was really a pain because you didn't really know. And my thing was when I heard it, I'm like, yo, Wilder, you have been the most outspokenest cat that I knew in the last 5 years, at least, you know, since, Money Mayweather, you know what I mean? So it was weird that he just stayed quiet that whole time. And then everybody was talking for him. And I thought that was weak, you know? So, but before that, like you had a fight party. So you had a fight party because I want to know your perspective. Like what happened from A to Z? Like,
all right. So first, I already honestly, I kind of knew he was gonna lose the fight at first. The first round. See, I didn't see what they were talking about the legs and I didn't see none of that. I just Tyson Fury came in there. He jabbed. He hit him with a hard, stiff jab. Remember in the first round, Deontay's head went back. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a long night. And then you remember, I think it was the second round when Deontay he landed the right hand.
Right.
Fury just basically ate it, and then he threw it again and missed. And then Fury turned him around, put him into the corner, and put his weight on him. I was like, yeah, this fight is done. He's gonna beat him. I already knew it, and I was like, I told people in the house. I'm like, yo, he's about to lose this fight. Like, Tyson Fury's making it too easy. He's making it find a back foot. You know what I mean, people thought I was crazy. I'm like, yo, anybody's beatable. What? All you have to really do is back him up and everything. To be honest with you, he doesn't use his jab. You know what I mean? He kept throwing the right hand. It wasn't working. Honestly, he's not gonna win a third fight either. But you know, that night was just crazy, and it's Deontay. I know. I was.
So you were in Brooklyn at the time?
Yeah, I was in Brooklyn.
Okay. And it's like everybody was like, and then he was like, "Hey, I told you so." So it was a big "I told you so" after that.
I thought he lost the first fight.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I thought he got outboxed the first fight. Honestly, I think the first fight he was just outboxed. He was outboxed by the better boxer. He got the 2 knockdowns, and I guess home team advantage or whatever,
and it was what it was. It was a draw. So,
Yeah.
but this go around, let's go back because I know how a lot of things start good, but they don't end well.
Yeah.
So when JD's called your dad to help him with this particular fighter, let's take it from there, from your perspective.
Talking about the first time my dad, he called my dad, like ever.
Yeah.
Basically, he called him in, well, Shelly Finkel. That was my dad's manager back in the day. He kind of he basically is the reason why that happened. You know what I mean? So I guess back in 2008, that's when they started working together.
Yeah.
I think this was right after Deontay came out of the Olympics or whatever.
Right.
Yes, they called my dad in. They thought Deontay could use a little bit more work because let's be honest, Jay didn't really teach him anything. He couldn't really teach him anything. I think obviously I said in the podcast with Punch, I just say I do hold my dad accountable a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like he definitely could have done a little bit more. Even like I said, he should have spoke up more. You know what I mean? Because I know how my dad is. He's very quiet and stuff like that. But I did say he should have spoke up a little bit more. But I think Jay being there really messed a lot of things up because he's putting stuff in his ear too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's not the right things.
So this time frame, are we talking about back then, or are we talking about after he took his first loss?
I think it's always been like that. To be honest, Jay's he's never really knew anything. To be honest,
kind of like a hype man or front guy.
Who really considers JD as a good trainer, a notable trainer? Nobody.
Right.
He's kind of really clowned in the boxing, but to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he reminds me more of a football coach than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, he'll tell it. He can tell you a good story or, give you a good chant to get you out there, but he can't tell you anything technical. You know what I'm saying? So they needed someone like your father to come in. But, okay, it got to the point, because according to your dad, because I was talking to Spencer, because I had an interview with him yesterday, if you heard, and he was telling us like a lot of things that he couldn't even tell Deontay, and he couldn't even talk to him one-on-one.
Oh yeah, my dad has told me that. Really like got to speak to him one-on-one.
Right.
I don't know. I guess my dad was like just he probably felt a little bit weird, like like I'm supposed to be you guys call me here to train him. I'm not even really able to really have one-on-one time with him. It's really him. But you know what I mean? I get Deontay, JD is like his father figure in a way, I guess. He's the one who started him off, but still, you don't know nothing.
Right. Yeah, so it wasn't ever a time when your father had total control over the training of Deontay Wilder.
All right. He's never really had total control. Jay, because he's the co-trainer. They always they always lay my dad as the assistant trainer.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, that explains a lot from his form with every damn thing, really. You know what I mean? His technique.
I find it kind of like it's funny, but I find it kind of insulting. I'm like, people try to say that Deontay fights like my dad. I'm like, stop it. Nothing like my dad. Be honest with you. Yeah, my dad threw combinations. He had footwork. He had defense. He had a good jab. All that. Speed. Obviously, he had power. Deontay has power too. He's a heavyweight, but come on. You need skill to win a gold medal.
That's crazy. So the beginning of the relationship really wasn't one. So he didn't really have time to really gel with Deontay. So was there any time your father shared with you like he was like pissed off or frustrated with Deontay Wilder during that whole 12-year stint or whatnot?
Honestly, all he's really said was, "Yo, man, like he don't listen to me." Like he always says, he don't listen to me.
Right.
So it's just like it's really hard. I understand. Like I understand when people ask why why stay with a person if he doesn't listen? I'm like, hey man, you gotta answer that yourself. He's answered it. He's answered it a lot of times, but I think he basically said on his Instagram. I think you read the post, right? If you did
I
not,
did.
I think he said, "Yo, I thought I could, eventually get him there, but I think Deontay just figured out, hey man, I can knock everyone out. So why learn anything else?"
Yeah, he got that mind, maybe because of JD's, maybe because
Yeah,
he was getting hype, and if you won't teach anyone nothing and all they know is what they've learned how to do, that's all they're gonna practice. You know what I'm saying? So I think in the long run, it really screwed him.
yeah.
You know. So like, how long was your dad a coach to Wilder? You think?
A coach to Wilder?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even, man. I really don't even know. To be honest with you, it's
Okay.
it's
So he was there kind of shadowing here and there when he could, which was
yeah.
kind of pathetic.
I'm pretty sure in the beginning, you know how I think this went. Most likely how it went, because my dad even like kind of hinted at it, but he never really wanted to talk about Jay at first.
Right.
At first, what I mean, Deontay wasn't known yet. He was probably letting my dad work with him until Deontay got known. Then that's when, Jay probably just wanted to take all the credit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you even see my dad at the press conferences?
No.
You don't see him at none of that, right?
Mm-mm.
It's all Jay. He gets all the credit. The people know. People know who the reason why he was in that position because of my dad.
Right.
He fixed up his right hand. He fixed up his jab. But he actually has a jab. He just doesn't use it.
Right.
Jay's not the reason why he became WBC world champion.
Yeah, I noticed when he does use his jab, the only purpose is to initiate the right hand, and
Yeah,
you see it coming.
it's like he puts it out there. It's like he's measuring
Yeah.
it, he throws it. I'm like,
Right.
maybe you should throw it. Maybe you should actually throw the jab sometimes.
Right. Right. As an actual weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And it's a lot of people think I hate on him. I just critique him because I see what he
Oh,
does.
you're being honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I can really do.
Even when I was rooting for him, when just because my dad was training him,
Right.
I was still honest. Then I was like, yo, like he don't really have skill. So, and people be like, aren't you? Is your father trying? I'm like, he doesn't have skill. I'm being honest. He doesn't.
Right. Right.
You saw him throwing a hook against Tyson Fury against Luis Ortiz in the first fight. He was like going down with the hook.
Yeah, but that comes from not practicing. Because I see he throws it like he's slinging it. Like, he's not even turning his hips with it. He's slinging it. He slings the left hook. And I'm looking at him like, that doesn't look right. But, you got JD's there and, he's the coach. So he takes all the credit. But the irony of it is he takes all the credit for the mess ups too, But I can imagine it's kind of awkward, not really being able to say too much like you wanted to because your dad trained him. You know what I mean? So it is kind of a blessing in disguise where you're allowed to take the muzzle off because Wilder decided to blame your dad for something that he did.
And you know what's funny? I see a lot. Some people be like, "Oh well, you're kind of young. You shouldn't be talking about this. You don't know what you're talking about." Oh, but these channels can talk about it, but they know everything, right? Certain people can talk about it, but I can't talk about it. Nah, y'all just don't like what I'm saying. That's all. Because what I'm saying doesn't fit y'all false narratives. That's all.
Okay, so some people have came to you and criticized you already about about you speaking your mind.
Yeah, like I said, no names, but
No worries. No, we don't need to give them airtime. They know who they are, and you do. I know a lot of people want to know because there were so many lies thrown around at the time. When was your father fired from the camp?
You know what's crazy? My dad was telling me he was telling me, because you remember how they were saying Deontay's thinking about firing him. My dad was telling me, yo, they already got rid of me. So I'm like, so what's all of this stuff on the news? They're talking about on the internet. They're talking about, oh well, he hasn't thought about. He's thinking about getting rid of Mark Breland. I'm like, they already got rid of him.
Right.
They already got rid of him. So they got rid of him a long time ago. So I don't know the exact time, but they got rid of him a long time ago. Even before that, I think even before that spiked water stuff.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
So
honestly, he got rid of him because he threw in the towel. That's really it.
right.
He got him right after that. That's all.
So for the record, that's why he fired your father.
That's why. Like I said, I look at Deontay Wilder's interviews. I think you brought up in when I said the Brian Custer interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember, Brian Custer said, "Why do you think he spiked your water?" He said, "Why do you think that?" And he said, "But." He totally disregarded that question, but he said, "But you know, what's gonna happen if you don't do your job or get reprimanded?" Exactly. You got rid of him because he threw in the towel, not because you think he spiked your water, or I believe. All right, so man, I don't hear none of that. I still haven't seen no proof. Nobody hasn't seen any proof.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, so it's one of those live pantomimes. Pantomimes is when you like he's show and tell. So he's telling you everything and he ain't showing you nothing.
It's been a year.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? I'm lying. I'm keeping it away. What's the point?
Your guess as good as mine. You fired your father that night. So I want to clear up a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff we don't know. Was your father allowed in the dressing room? Did he lock him out of the dressing room after that fight?
I talked to my dad. You know what's great? I really never I never had a real conversation about it. Because when I heard that, I was kind of like, he was crying. I didn't even say nothing to my dad. I don't even think my dad knew about that. I'll be honest with you. He didn't even know about it. So I'm just like, yo, this guy was
right.
He had him crying outside the dressing room. I'm like, shoot, I never really talked to him about that. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was kind of, even if it is true, I feel like my dad, I don't think he wouldn't admit it to me.
Okay.
I don't think he would have told me that, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about the time he spent.
Yeah.
And there had to be some type of relationship between your father and Deontay Wilder because according to Wilder,
yeah,
he was there with his firstborn child. So, so there had to be some type of relationship. So if something like that happened, I could see how that could be hurtful, disappointing even.
But he keeps contradicting himself though, because remember he said that he never knew my father outside of boxing. But then he says I shouldn't have brought him around my family. Bro, you keep contradicting yourself, bro.
Counterpunch. Counterpunch.
Oh, come on, man.
See, you have to watch what you say, so it's crazy, man. It's like when you hear certain things and then you hear contradicting things. Because see, I try to get down to the bottom of it myself because I interviewed Tay Jones. I don't know if you know who that is. You familiar with Tay Jones?
I know who he is. I never met him though.
Okay. Well, he told me things along the lines of he did say your father was fired immediately.
Yeah.
But what I don't get, why did Shelly Finkel say that he wasn't fired? Because right after that, he was like, no, he's not fired. Mark Breland is not fired at all. So that was the big talk of the time.
I see the thing with my dad and Shelly, they've had a relationship since the 80s, since the Olympic days. You know what I mean? So I don't think Shelly wanted my dad to go, but Deontay wanted him to go. I think that's what the whole thing was. You know what I mean? Shelly and my dad have been friends for over 30 years. So
well, So you think the I guess the power trip, or should I say um, the levels of management, so to speak, with Shelly Finkel. So Shelly Finkel overrides JD's by far. So he's pretty much over JD's because if Deontay Wilder wanted him gone, then Shelly Finkel said he's not gone. That had to be some type of communication with Deontay and Shelly.
Yeah, I maybe Deontay's probably like, yo, I don't. He probably just didn't want him there. You know what I mean? And I guess Shelly just was like, all right. You know what I mean? I don't shoot, man. I think Deontay, he must have really not wanted him there. So, I don't know.
Right. Do you think he? I mean, do you think because he said your dad was jealous of him or something like that?
Jealous of
What do you
what?
make of that?
I laughed at that because when I heard all of that and I heard the interview and I said he's acting like a victim. I don't know why he said these things and all of that. I'm like, man, bruh, you know what you said. You said a whole year ago he spiked your water and all of that. And then now you're talking about he's jealous because he responded. But my thing is, why would he be jealous of you? Man, you've held the WBC. You had 10 title defenses, but yeah, I don't even want to bring up the resume. I'm not even gonna do that. But against who?
Yeah, that's true. Bermain Stavern,
As an Olympic gold medalist, he's a 5-time
right?
champ. I think he's like a 3-time two-time amateur champ. And the thing is, he was knocking all of these dudes out.
That powerful right hand.
Look at the Teddy Atlas interview. People were ducking, going up in weight, going down in weight, ducking my father.
Yeah, he was a bad man. And actually, people talk about Lomachenko, but your father was reviewed as the best amateur ever
in the U.S.
in the U.S. Yeah. So, man, you have some big shoes to fill, huh?
Hey, man. Yeah, man. He did do a lot. I think he got inducted into his 5th Hall of Fame last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
how could he be jealous? Come on.
That's one of those things, man, where I think it's a deflection because I know people like that. I know a lot of people where if something's bothering them or they don't like what you're saying, they're going to say either you're jealous or you're a hater. Those are the go-to words when you deal with someone that don't like what you say, because maybe what you say is a little bit too much for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I don't want to hear this shit. So guess what? You're a hater or you're jealous.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. What evidence to prove that of what he said? He's just saying that.
Exactly.
Why would you say someone's jealous and not give any backup?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I want to know all of this. But he's just saying things, and then these channels are just eating it up and talking about it and just making up their own things.
Well, the channels, this is the thing about these channels. No names, but let me explain. Let me counterpunch. This is what I do. They make that content because they know us a lot of people that don't really watch boxing, maybe on a casual basis. So you got a lot of casual boxers. So Deontay was really the last American heavyweight. So if you're black, if you're urban, if you're from that type of pool, okay, that type of category of people, you're going to ride with that. So if you hear any type of rumors about Tyson Fury or anything like that, you could watch a certain channel, for example, and then they hear something and they're like, oh man, that's what happened. He cheated, and really think nothing else about it. But you get enough people that look at it that don't really know boxing. They can't question it because they don't know about it. So they're either ignorant or they're stupid. So they either don't know, like, yo, do you know how many people in them dressing rooms when people are looking at the gloves? I mean, do you know? And I know there's a such thing, to be fair, like people can hide shit.
Remember they said Jay wasn't in the locker room when he was put on his gloves, and there was a clear picture of him being in there. He watched Sugar put the gloves on Tyson Fury. My thing is, it's like they're protecting Jay. I don't know what it is. Why y'all not? Where's that same
energy?
Like, where's that
Where's
same
the same
energy?
Yeah. Now, see, you would think they would go after him if they were really just pro Wilder, but they don't want to go after Wilder because they're yes. If now let me tell you something. Mark my words. If Wilder goes after Jay and decides, you know what, Jay, you are another snake in the grass. Remember that term. You are another snake in the grass. So guess what? I'm coming against you. All of those channels will come together and do the same thing. They all follow.
And they'll probably totally disregard my dad's. They'll probably forget about my dad's thing.
No, but do you know why though? But do you know why?
Oh, right.
Because that would be considered old news.
Yeah.
That's it. See, it's all about new news, what can get views.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. A lot of them don't know about boxing.
Yeah,
really.
Right.
That's all it is.
I realize those channels have a lot of subscribers too. They get a lot of viewers.
Well, they get a lot of viewers, and then like I tell a lot of people here, and it's a lot of people that watch my stuff from those channels, the alphabet channels I call them. But then I tell them, a lot of them come talking this and that, and I tell them, I'm like, look, wrong channel. If you're gonna come over here and try to convince me of something that I already know, because I use common sense and logic based on facts, you can go back where you came from. But a lot of them don't, because they like to be fed that, because a lot of them don't like the idea of, a lot of people are racist, prejudiced in a sense. So they don't like that idea. They can't stand the idea of Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder. They can't fathom that at all. So it's one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. Yeah, he does kind of. Yeah, I think I lost him for a little bit. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties. Hope they don't have an ice storm up there or something. I think he'll be back. I think he had a little technical difficulties or whatnot. Eileen, LGBC jamming. I don't know. White boy wasn't supposed to beat the king. Yeah, Shelton Moore. Well, that was the problem. That was the problem. The wrong guy lost. Let's see. Or should I say the wrong guy won, rather. Yeah, Mr. Landlord, I was actually going to ask that. The Brotherhood, once again, you can explain why Breland lied about not touching the water when you can let me know. Well, this is what was said, the Brotherhood. I'm going to tell you what was said. What was said was he was the only one that was touching the water. Tay Jones told me that. So if you're going to blast Mark Breland for saying he never touched the water, okay, fair play. But he can't say he was the only one that was conducting the water, that was dealing with the water. So there you go. You know what I mean? So you have, again, with what we're talking about, you got a guy that nobody's saying shit about. On top of, you got a guy that because Wilder says so, it has to be true. That's the problem. And a lot of times he doesn't know his head from his ass a lot of times when he's talking about those type of things. How's a snowstorm going in Texas? Welcome to Canada. I know, right? Adam, definitely. Because look, this feels like Canada. I went to school in Vermont, in Burlington, so I know Canada weather. Yeah, that's it. A lie is a lie. So you don't give credit for the lie that was told to me? Because they said JD's never touched the water. Isn't that right?
Yeah, hello?
What's up, brother? Welcome back.
Something happened. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, my bad.
Nah, it's all good, man. You know, it's just the enemy jamming your channels. Are like, yeah, disconnect. Don't speak that shit. Don't speak that shit. No, no, you're good, man. Now we were waiting around. So, you feel like answered some questions from the live chat?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. If Wilder was drugged before the fight. Oh yeah, is your dad going to train again?
Oh, is he training? You know, he's actually training. He's training a young fighter named Dominic Crowder. He's 126. He's 8-0 right now. I think with like 6 KOs, 7 KOs. And
nice.
He's actually, I think he's training Evander Holyfield's son permanently, maybe.
Really?
For his last fight.
Oh, so he's too legit to quit.
Yeah, him and Evander friends. So
yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they go way back. You know, two decorated brothers. Yeah. Let's see. If Wilder was drugged before the fight, then watch it again, and you will see only JD give Wilder water before the fight. Breland had the water during the fight. Okay. Well, that's what I was saying. I watched that fight, bro, about maybe 24 times. And I watched every element in there, like new shit that people come up. Like it was, actually, if you watch that fight again, Anthony, your father, he threw in the towel, but he wasn't the one that stopped that fight. You know that, right?
It was, I think Kenny Bayless was about to stop it. Right?
Yeah. Kenny Bayless stopped it. Look at it. Look at it again. We had this talk yesterday. Look at that fight again and watch where that towel was. The towel was thrown your father threw it in the middle of the ring. They were in the corner because Wilder was balled up in the corner, taking shots to the face and to just incoming, right? So how did he see the towel thrown by the time he waved the fight off? He had already waved it off. You see what I'm saying? He looked around and seen the towel. Okay, well, they stopped it anyway. So that really took the flack off of him. And I think, Mr. Deontay knew that because he heard it. Kenny Bayless, just to save face, he said, well, I was going to stop it anyway. No, you already stopped the fight. And I don't even think he had to see the towel. He's seen enough punishment. Just watch it again. Because I seen that. I was like, he couldn't have saw that towel where he was at. That towel was behind him. If you check it, it's a trip. The towel was behind him. He couldn't see it. You know what I mean? So he had to stop that fight. But again, that's why he felt obligated to say, hey, I would have stopped it anyway. So in that essence, your dad should really get all the slack for that. But why?
Kenny Bayless was a crab in a bucket referee. You know what I mean? He had a cocktail before the fight. You know what I mean?
He was drunk.
He had a cocktail, you know what I mean? But
yeah, he was drunk.
Why are people not laughing at and you know what's crazy? His people really believe this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, didn't Kenny Bayless take 2 points off for Tyson Fury?
Well, he took one. He took 1 point. But here's the significance, though. The significance is if you look at the files by both sides, not just one, not just Fury, but from both sides, you seen rabbit punches thrown and landed all night from Deontay Wilder, and Kenny Bayless didn't say a fucking thing. You see what I'm saying? He didn't say anything. How could he? Look, just go back and watch the fight and mark how many times Wilder whacked this man behind the head.
Hold on. Give me
in a clinch.
Oh, give me a second real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to. Okay, I'm back now.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. So you're talking about Kenny Bayless again, right?
Right.
Yeah. That first you talking about the first Tyson Fury fight?
No, you mean when the you talking about the fouls?
Yeah, because you brought up the fouls. That's what I was asking.
No, I was talking about the second fight.
Oh, the second fight. Oh, yeah. But you know what's crazy? People, they're complaining about the rabbit punches, right? But did they remember the Ortiz fight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got hit in the back.
The first fight was terrible. I mean, he battered this man behind the head. When he caught him in the what round was it? The 7th. When he caught him in the 7th, no, the 10th. When he caught him in the 10th round, he caught him, and then he whacked him twice behind the head, and he threw him into the ropes. And then you see what the referee did? The referee didn't count. He which he was hurt, but he ruled it. What was it? A slip? That wasn't a slip. That was a throw. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was a foul by itself on top of the 2 rabbit punches. And then it wasn't until later on when Team Ortiz was like, yo, what he did was criminal. And they were like, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, what did you mean? What are you talking about? Because I was the one. Because me and Luis Ortiz, I messaged him after that fight. And I put up a post. And I told him, I was like, okay, how can you win a fight doing this? And then it went viral. It was like 100,000 some odd views. That was on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Because I got a Facebook page. But when he saw it, I think that's what sparked that interest, But his handlers could have saw it too. I don't want to just take credit for it, but you know what I mean? But it was a big buzz around that. Like, yo, this guy got hit over the head like 9 to 10 times in that whole fight, and no one claimed anything. The referee didn't say anything, just like Kenny Bayless didn't say anything. And the weird thing about it, I think Kenny Bayless is one of those guys that were there to protect American fighters. If you think about it, look at all them damn Floyd fights. He's always there. Floyd gets hit hard in the face. You're all right. You're all right, Floyd. And I'm like, yo, let this fight continue. What are you doing?
We all know Floyd is great, but man, sometimes let him fight. Let the people fight. Let the
people fight.
Crazy.
Yeah. So those type of things happen in the sport, and I think he stopped, I think he stopped it because he didn't want to see Wilder all knocked the hell out and hanging out the ring. Yeah. He didn't want him to do a Bernard Hopkins. That's what what I mean?
That's what his fans wanted to see.
Well, that didn't help him that night, and it didn't save him. He was getting his ass whooped, and that was that. Adam Cram, he says, I have a question for him. When Fury said, if Wilder fires you, Mark, you can come work for me, did he know if his dad was interested?
My dad found out about it like 2 days after Fury said something like that. And he was jokingly, he was like, maybe. He said, the money's right. But then he was like, nah, I'm not even going to do all of that. There's too much drama.
Yeah.
Because if he did that, see, I knew it. He did spike his water.
People would have, they would have buried that shit, and then they would have had a frenzy.
Still had no proof, but they're going to just go for that.
Yeah. Man, that's great that your father, he's still training. He's still doing his thing. What do you think about when Wilder said your dad is he's gonna retire broke.
I thought you said he was gonna die broke.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, die broke.
Hey man. But he doesn't know why my dad said these things, right?
These things. He says these things.
He doesn't know why. Look at him being disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Listen, like, isn't he trying to he's trying to get money right now?
That's true. That's true. You know, he asked for too much money to fight Charles Martin. And
I heard something. I don't know if it's true. Talking about pay-per-view. No one wants to sit down pay-per-view. No one's buying that.
What's that? Are you talking about Charles Martin?
Yeah, I heard I heard on like the internet they're talking about him fighting talking on pay-per-view. Please stop it. No one wants to watch that on pay-per-view. If that's true.
Well, here's the reality of it. The reality is Deontay Wilder needs a get-back fight. You can't have a get-back fight on pay-per-view. It's not going to work. I don't care how many people think that.
And he needs to start fighting the best fighters. He needs to.
No.
My thing is, I don't understand why he said, remember he was like, we might never see Anthony Joshua, me and Anthony fight, so don't like expect it. Remember he was saying that when he was champion? But then now he's asking for, now he's saying he wants to fight Anthony Joshua. So why all of a sudden?
Well, he wants to. Do you understand? Wilder built his name off of Anthony Joshua. When Anthony Joshua was hot, when he fought Klitschko, when he beat Klitschko, you know, when he was building, he was collecting these belts. Do you understand? Wilder was there that night, right? When he fought Klitschko. You know, Wilder was there. Wilder was a commentator that night. Did you know that?
Crazy. I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm. If you watch Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, you're gonna hear a black commentator. You know, oh, the energy is good. It's big. That's why I like this. He told Anthony Joshua that night, I gotta do things like I gotta do things like you doing over here. And when Anthony Joshua knocked out Vladimir Klitschko in the 11th round, you know what he did? He gave Anthony Joshua a fist bump. Watch that fight again. But there was no time at all. This was like April, I believe, April or March of 17, right? That's when that fight happened at Wembley, over 90,000 people, right? Now, at any time, you did not hear the WBC heavyweight champion of the world call anybody out at all. You know who he had beef with that night? Tony Bellew. You know the guy from Creed? Yeah. So, yeah, he was talking about Tony Bellew. He was getting at Bellew, but I'm like, yo, you're the heavyweight champion of the world. Why ain't you calling the motherfucker that just knocked out Klitschko? See.
Bellew a cruiserweight?
Yeah, he was a cruiserweight. But then he fought David Haye at heavyweight. Then he went back to cruiserweight and got knocked out by Alexander Usyk. And he retired.
Tony Bellew isn't a bum or anything, but come on, Deontay. Tony Bellew? A heavyweight?
Well, yeah, he was bigger, and he knew they've had some beef for some time. But the point is, if he wanted Joshua then, why didn't he call Joshua out then?
Exactly.
So that never happened. Yeah, watch that fight. You're gonna see who's that. You're gonna hear him. Like now that I've told you, when you go back and you listen to the commentary, that's Deontay Wilder talking on Sky Sports with the other two commentators. He was hired to be there. Deontay Wilder was hired to be at the Povetkin fight when they were trying to get the negotiations or whatever, and they offered him $12 million, then $15 million, and all this. And he said he wouldn't go because he couldn't get in the ring.
He just wanted. So he just okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. He wanted the buzz because he wanted to raise his own profile. He necessarily didn't want to take the fight because the fight itself was too dangerous. And I think Shelly Finkel really didn't want that fight for Wilder right then. because he knew Wilder didn't have enough steam, he didn't have enough publicity, he didn't have enough fans. He was getting what? He made $1 million to fight Ortiz.
You gotta earn that.
You got to earn that, exactly. And he wasn't nowhere near that. They didn't have anything to bargain with.
You see, people try to. I know people don't like Floyd, but people don't realize he earned to be where he was at. He fought
Floyd did it.
all the top guys when he was at his lighter weights. People don't realize that he was fighting top guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They to money made, and that's when he became the cash cow. He started running his own things. I don't know, Deontay. Like, you can't be fighting guys like Johan Duha, whatever his name is. You can't be fighting guys like Arthur Spilka. You know what I mean? You can't be fighting guys like I can't even name Brazil.
Yeah, the made up WBC mandatory. He was a made up WBC mandatory. You know who was supposed to be the mandatory? Dillian White.
Yeah, I know.
And he ducked him.
My thing is, right? People keep saying he would knock Dillian White out. I'm like, so why not just take the fight?
Just take the fight and let that be that. But honestly, I think. Do you have earbuds? Do you have any earbuds?
No, I do, but I don't have them on me right now.
Okay, because you kind of getting a little echo, but I can hear you fine. The thing is, he could have fought Dillian White. The problem with fighting Dillian White was he didn't want. It was ego. I don't think he was scared of Dillian White. I think it was a concern that he would lose. But why would you fight someone that you could possibly lose by? But then again, why would you fight someone that wasn't a champion? See, Dillian White was the interim champion. He was the number one interim champion. By default, that's supposed to be the mandatory. But for some weird, strange reason, he wasn't. It was Dominique Brazil on some type of little loophole, kind of weird, shady Mauricio Suleiman type of shit going. So he ended up fighting Brazil finally.
Mauricio Suleiman is garbage. It's absolute garbage. WBC is so corrupt. The WBC is so corrupt. It's crazy. He's garbage.
We be crooks.
He's garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, he said a lot of lies and a lot of things. He's a politician at the end of the day, so go figure. You know what I mean? But as far as Wilder, it's a lot of rumors that's going around that's not true. There's nothing that people are going to. When was the last time you seen the WBC strip anybody for anything? You know what I mean? Like what? Like who's going to strip Tyson Fury when he fights when he fights Joshua? Nobody. The sanctioning fees are too big.
Yeah, he's not going to get stripped.
No.
And people don't want to. His fans don't want to see the fight. I'm like, I thought you guys are boxing fans. Don't y'all want to see Undisputed?
Well, a lot of people don't, unfortunately. They don't want to see Undisputed because they think that Deontay Wilder should fight Tyson Fury. Now, in theory, here's the thing. If Tyson Fury signed the contract, he should have fought. He should have fought him again. But if they had some type of weird contract or whatever, okay, and it expired for some strange way, well, that's that. Because there's some way they are not fighting him. The only problem I have with Tyson Fury, as far as Tyson Fury goes, is that he didn't fight the fight that he wanted to fight. That's the reason he didn't want to fight Wilder, because he wanted to fight last year. Now, dude, it's February of 2021, and you still haven't fought anyone. So that's a problem, But I mean, that's another whole different story. The thing is, you come in because people are saying shit about your father. That ain't true. Spreading lies about your father, talking about him spiking water or whatever.
Like I said in interviews, I can care less about that glove gate, man. I really don't think he did cheat, but man, I'm not here to protect Tyson Fury.
Right.
I don't like strictly talking about like the spike mortar. I'm like, man, he didn't do it. I'm so confident that he didn't do it. I'll be honest, so confident. My dad knows he didn't do it. You know what I mean? People, you know how people always come up with this. They come up with more narratives every day. It's kind of crazy at one point, but
So,
everyone knows he
question.
didn't do it.
Your father, he's received death threats, right?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, the death threats. How did the death threats come? Were they from phone calls? Were they from messages, letters?
Really from like it's like his DMs, Instagram.
Oh, okay. So it's through social media. So they would DM him some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's he's so passive with everything though. He don't really care. It's like whatever. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. But y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me in person.
Right.
That's how
That's crazy, man. So it's people out there that are threatening your father's life because of something that some guys accusing him of that he doesn't have any evidence of.
exactly.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, basically calling him all of that. But
So
he's a coon, but Deontay kept the white guy.
counterpunch. Right. You kept the other guy, but the black guy is a coon that you fired. You know, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I guess JD's is, you know, I don't know. I guess he's albino or whatever. Just got a really good hair. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't get it. You know, and then and all these guys that are I mean, probably the same silly son of a bitches that are, you know, that are coming on those other channels and DMing your father are the ones that allow this shit to happen. They supposed to be the one that override their whole. Here's the thing: if your thing is if you're pro-black and you believe that hey, that black man couldn't have lost to the white guy, and white guys are you hear like they talk about Eddie Hearn, like, oh, he's a blue-eyed devil and shit like that. Well, if that's the case, there's another blue-eyed devil that Deontay Wilder hired and refused to fire.
Stupid, yo. This whole white stuff, man. Like just cause you white, man, it don't matter, man. He's better than you. I hate when people make stuff about race. But it was
That had nothing to do with it.
It was kind of funny though. He did lose in Black History. It was kind of funny.
And he brought the shit up about the Black History trivia question. Now that was some See, you gotta lie. You understand? You gotta lie at that time. You got a lot of save face. Like I got my ass whooped on the 22nd February on Black History Month in a Black History costume made by two men that look like women. Right? And he blamed them at first. You know that, right? He was like, oh, the costume was too heavy. And then he blamed them because he's like, well, the costume was too heavy. So they called them because, you know, they were interviewed, right? The two men were interviewed. Those two guys that made the costume. Yeah. Yeah, they got interviewed. And they were like, oh, well, we made them the last two that you had. That was the third one. He did it in the first Fury fight. I think he did it again in either the Brazil fight or the Ortiz fight. And then the third one he did with the rematch with Fury.
The rematch of Ortiz, he looked like the White Power Ranger.
Okay.
Mighty Morphin. Like the White Power Ranger. The Brazil fight, he looked like a Transformer. And then I think someone said, yeah, he looked like his Captain Crunch uniform. I don't know what. It's kind of funny. Like, my thing is, why do you have LED lights in your eyes?
You said what now?
I think he had like LED lights by his eyes.
Well, yeah, that's for the effect. You know, the guys went all out. You know, they did. You know, they did some very colorful stuff. He wanted it the way he liked it, and that's how he liked it because he wore it. He approved it.
He approved of it. So what's the problem now?
Well, Well, I'm going to tell you my theory. This is my counterpunch on this, Anthony. You know why his legs were shot? Because he didn't work the fuck out. He skipped leg day. He skipped every day that caused him or required him to train. If it meant training of something that's going to cause him to probably be sore besides swimming and working pads, that's all I seen him do. I seen him on the treadmill. I did see him on a treadmill like once upon a time. But this other shit, you know, if it consists of conditioning, he ain't doing it. And if you notice, for the Brazil fight, he said, well, I'm going back to the basics. Back to the basics? Motherfucker, what have you been doing this whole time? See, that's the thing. So when he did put that suit on, if the suit was a little heavier than normal, that's all it's going to take for a person that's not really conditioned. So he walks in there, then he gets knocked upside the head for another thing. Somebody dropped them damn bees on him, and then that really took him south of the border. So his legs were really shaky on top of not really being conditioned enough, but just to throw a right hand because he came in with the Andy Ruiz syndrome. The Andy Ruiz thought he could go in there and hit Anthony Joshua a left hook and thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to hit him with that left hook and he's going to be hurt again. Well, that shit didn't happen. And he came in down there 300 pounds.
And he was like, yeah, remember he was saying, I don't want to get my 15 minutes of fame, blah, blah. And then after the fight, you know, I think I should have trained harder. I don't want to hear excuses. You lost.
Yeah, he should have trained. You know, but look, at least you got that from him. That's more credible than somebody saying, blaming something else. Oh, it's the costume. Those guys made it too heavy. The costume was heavy. See, what people don't understand is, I got in a big argument with a dude yesterday. He was saying, well, no, he wasn't. What he was saying is, if the costume was heavy, that means the people made it too heavy if he's already dealt with it before. You see what I'm saying? So if the costume was heavy, that means you're blaming whoever made the fucking costume, not the fact that you were wearing it. The costume that you guys made for me, it was too heavy for me. So that caused me not to feel like myself. So how in the hell can't you just go with that, but you got to bring up spiked water anyway? But one thing is, who in the hell made that lie up? You know what I mean? Who thought of that shit? I mean, people had to be thinking around, well, wait a minute. Man, do you feel all right? Man, feel like I was kind of. Oh, wait. It's the water. It's the water. It's the water, Deontay. Man, you know what? It is the water. You know what?
I think that's exactly the water. That's exactly
it's the water. I bet you it's Mark. Jay couldn't have done this. No, Jay don't even say that. It was Mark. I know I ain't like him. No too damn much. He tried to make me do too much. I don't like that motherfucker. That's why I told Jay to tell him, don't make me do shit. And the rest is history. You know what I mean? Look, here's the thing. If you were a guy and you went to school, right? And you didn't really give a shit about the school, but then you went to a class where a guy was like, man, go ahead, do what you gotta do, man. I understand. Right? And that's sixth period. But fourth period, you go to a dude that makes you do every fucking thing. Right? So if you had an opportunity to get one fired, which one would you pick? The fourth one or the sixth one? You pick the fourth one. Like, this motherfucker make me do everything. Get him out of there. Oh boy, cool. You know what I mean? Coach D's, Teacher D's, Mr. D's is cool, man. But you know, I don't know, man. Mr. Breland, an asshole. He made me do all that bullshit. He give me homework. He give me 4 pages. You know what I mean? Look, I got to do 4 pages of homework. Then I didn't do it last week. Then he makes me redo it when I mess up. And so I got more homework on top of the homework that he give me the next day. Oh yeah, man. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what happened. And I think it's really all stupid, because if he doesn't get the proper training, he will lose. With the right type of person that's in condition and he can't land that right hand, he's going to lose. It ain't always going to save him. It didn't save him this time. I think it was just a recipe for disaster for him, honestly, because, you know, not training and You're not being where he should have been anyway, fighting somebody that was determined to tap that ass. Tyson Fury ain't the biggest puncher, no, but he hurt him in the first fight. You know he hurt him in the first fight, right?
Yeah, and people don't realize this is heavyweight boxing. Tyson Fury is 270 pounds. I don't care if he's a big puncher or not. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel that. I'm tired of people saying he's not a big puncher. Deontay's making the excuses because he doesn't want to give Tyson Fury the credit to beat him up. Because remember, he kept calling him pillow fist. That's just messing with him. He called him pillow fist. He called him all of this.
Feather dusters.
Yeah, so I guess it's like, damn, he hurt me.
No.
He hurt him.
Yeah, he hurt. He's hurt. I think basically the silence. He was hurt. He thought about it. He was hurt. I think he was hurt. He was bothered by that. I think he went in exile for a long time. I think he wanted to talk. I really do think he wanted to speak, but he couldn't because emotionally, mentally, he wasn't there. But that didn't stop him from letting other people speak for him. That's what I believe. I think Wilder was he was bothered by that loss. You know, that dude tapped that ass. He beat him up and he roughed him up. And what people don't understand about fighters, the way Tyson Fury leaned on him, had him in the headlock, that's roughhousing. He put his body weight on him. That's experience.
Tell these people never boxed before. Never boxed, never got in the ring. Talking about, yeah, I've done the professional level before. I've done this. So how don't you know being a heavier man and putting your body weight on somebody makes them tired?
It takes juice out of your back when you do that shit. You know what I mean? And he's been the way Wilder was bent over like he was, and Fury was bending down on him. What do you think that's going to do? And then you're throwing punches, then you're tussling. And Wilder ain't no weak dude. He ain't no like he's physically strong.
He's strong. It's just people got to realize Tyson Fury had like 30, 40 pounds on him.
Well, Wilder was like, what, 233, 234?
30.
He was 273. Come on. You know, that's 40 pounds plus that he had on him. So that didn't have anything to do with his legs or him feeling weak, fatigued. So the thing people are overlooking this one word, fatigued. You can be fatigued. Fatigues make excuses of men. That's why the punches wouldn't landed like they were. And I don't want to hear this shit about the bicep because we already debunked that shit out of the wall.
I hear about the bicep every single fight he has. He tears that thing because the way he punches, literally, he tears it every damn fight. I don't even want to hear that.
So did you hear about the bicep? Did your father talk about anything about the bicep injury? Was there a bicep injury at all?
Honestly, my dad is always just like, yo, man. But he hurts himself a lot because he punches so incorrectly. He punches wild. He punches like he's swimming. So you're gonna hurt your bicep. You're gonna hurt it every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been saying that on this channel for a couple years. He doesn't know how to punch properly. Therefore, when he throws punches, and he throws them hard, but he doesn't know how to throw punches. A lot of times he throws them off of emotion.
Yeah. And
he doesn't throw them the right way. Then he ends up breaking something. He might hurt that other person, but he's also hurting himself. So that's another thing, you know. Tony Barlett, he says, Fury had floppy gloves. Deontay had floppy legs.
No, but they got that evidence from the first fight. I thought he cheated. People, they're talking about he cheated in the second fight with the floppy gloves, but they're bringing evidence from the first fight.
Says Kurt lied about Wilder using Fury excuses as his own. No, I said there's a possibility of him doing that because that's the same thing Tyson Fury did to Vladimir Klitschko. And it looks like to me that Wilder used that same shit against Tyson Fury. That's what I said. The Brotherhood. but you don't believe JD's did anything. So why don't, if you are so adamant on that, so why don't you go to those channels and say, well, what about JD's?
I've seen him a couple of times. He really thinks my dad spiked Deontay's water.
JD's thinks your dad spiked the water.
No, I'm saying this guy.
Brotherhood. Oh, this Brotherhood guy. Okay. But JD's couldn't have done it.
No, not at all. Because he didn't give him water at all, right?
Oh no, he never gave him water. Brotherhood says he never gave him water, so he didn't give him water. You know what I mean? So this is the type of shit I'm talking about. This guy.
I understand what you're trying to say with my father saying he never gave him water. Yo, my father obviously gave him water, but JD did too. So where's the same energy?
There you go.
Man, where's the same energy?
Because they both handled the water, but JD's had it first. So here's the thing. If the argument is Wilder felt weird, because he said, when I got to the ring, I started feeling weird. Remember he said that? I got to the ring, I just started feeling weird. When I took the mask off, I started feeling weird. But what happened when he started feeling weird? If we're gonna give this shit any type of entertainment, who was giving him the water? JD's. So if it was water that was aided him to feel this certain type of way because something was in it, who the fuck was giving it to him? JD's. You know what I mean? You can't just then later on, well, we've seen him do it, so that's going to line up to what we believe because we believe whatever Deontay Wilder says. It's just another example of yes men.
You see, this guy just can't take the fact that Deontay is just not that good. He just can't beat Tyson Fury. He can't.
Now, here's the thing. JD's didn't say shit about anything. He ain't talked. So that's the whole thing. What do you know what he said? He ain't said shit. So don't say, oh, well, JD's didn't lie about touching the water. He ain't said shit anyway.
You see, he's using this as a reason for why he thinks my dad's like the water. That's not good enough, though.
The reason he said that he spiked the water is because Deontay Wilder said it.
Exactly. I want physical proof of him of the reports because he got tested. They found nothing. So I guess you believe just like Deontay, right?
Yeah, but it's one of those things. Look, if you watch a channel that only follows a fighter, that's what you're going to follow. That's the narrative. That's where this cat comes in. You see what I mean? So yeah, he's going to be trolling, and he's going to be, oh well, your dad lied. Your dad did this, but then JD's can go without saying anything, without being accountable for anything for any other reason. And he didn't even feel like it's necessary to even speak about how he feels about everything. See, here's the thing. JD's could clear your father's name if he wanted to. He could clear up the bullshit. That's why I know it's a bunch of fuckery going on there, because it's like you don't hear Shelly Finkel saying anything about this, about how they feel about the accusations. You don't hear JD. You don't hear Al Heyman anyway, so we ain't going to talk about Al Heyman because he doesn't talk about shit. So this is what we have. We have Deontay Wilder, and now your father defending himself, and now yourself defending him. So, you have a guy that got beat. He was trained by your father, a man that couldn't really train him without monitoring. And it's crazy. It's like, and today, it was like,
oh my God.
Did JD's fight for Crump Gym and do an interview with MTK? No, but your dad did.
Stop putting his things up there, please. He's going on conspiracies. Malik Scott is from Crump Gym too, right?
Oh, the Brotherhood. Isn't Malik Scott from Crunk's Gym? So guess what? When he gets his ass beat again, you gonna blame Malik Scott, the guy that took a dive against Wilder for some fucking bread? Because he took a fake hit to the head? Bars. You see what I'm saying? Oh, but yeah, Malik Scott, that's Crunk. So what? So everybody from Crunk Gym is against Deontay Wilder, but that's who he hired to replace his father. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. You know, look, like we can't make this shit up. And then look, they serious about that shit. They are serious about it. You know why? Because it's belief. It's belief.
These guys really believe this. They're serious. I really think sometimes I think they're trolling, but no, they're serious.
No, they're serious. You know why they're serious? Because the blind leads the blind. See, if Wilder really believes that dumbfounded because he's so delusional that he can't even fathom that Tyson Fury beat me. You know, look like this. Imagine you're Wilder. You get beat up and you can't take it. You're going to go home and say, man, it was 8 of them motherfuckers. No, it was one guy hit you 8 times. You know what I mean? So it's elementary because people can't fathom the idea of taking a loss. A lot of people, he ain't the only one though. You know, before I just shit on Wilder, we're just shitting on Wilder now because he was the last one to do it. You know what I mean? He's the last one to do it, and he's the one going through it. So it's his time to roast. He knows he's wrong. He said that feather dusting, punching, pillow punching, no good gypsy having that guy. So he said all this about that guy, and then all of a sudden, you can't take that guy beat you. Now he goes in there, beats you up, kicks your ass, throws you around, knocks you down, and now he did that all on Black History Month. But you shouldn't have had it. Look. You shouldn't have made it all about Black history. You shouldn't have made it about race. And I know it sells, but you shouldn't have done that.
And you know, these guys say Deontay is the face of boxing. What do you think about that when they say he's the face of boxing?
He is not.
I try to tell people, I'm like, can anybody name me 3 credible opponents on his resume
that he beat?
Yeah, you can't even name Tyson Fury. He lost him. 3 credible opponents.
Luis Ortiz, baby. Spoken like a true wildcat. That's the 3 right there.
Luis Ortiz, they say his name all the time. Well, Joshua didn't fight Luis Ortiz. Do you know what Joshua would do to Luis Ortiz right now? He put him in a body bag. This guy's like 55 years old. He probably takes blood pressure medication. This guy's old.
Wait a minute. He does. You know that, right? You know that's what happened in the second fight. No, the first fight. Yeah. He didn't tell the because see, you know, you have to name the prescriptions of the drugs that you take. Shout out to Matt Sadil. And he didn't tell them. And then when they found out it was in his system, then he explained it and they cleared him to fight. Okay, that was the holdup. But he popped dirty 4 years ago. Wilder said he would never fight him then. You see, but now he fights him 4 years later, though. He fights him in 18. I think he popped dirty in, 15. I think it was like 3 years prior to that. He said, I would never fight Ortiz because Ortiz is a cheater. That's what he said. But then he fights him, though. He does fight him, though.
Oh, I remember Povetkin, but Povetkin, got caught for something, but
yeah. Yeah, he obviously he's well now because look what he did to White, right?
That's what I'm talking about, yo. Oh my God.
Wilder getting smacked around by Fury no more a mystery than when Barrera smacked Hamed around. That's what you get when you don't develop fundamentals. Do you know Prince Asim Ahmed? You ever heard of him?
Yes, of course. He's the first fighter to ever make the WBO belt relevant. Right.
Because he came to New York and he knocked out Kevin Kelly. So he knocked him out. It was a good fight though, because Kevin, I think he dropped him twice and then he knocked Kevin Kelly down. Kevin Kelly, he talked real fast. but he dropped him, I think, 3 times and ended him. And that's when he became that guy, you know. So, but that Matt Sedillo, great counterpunch, because that's a great comparison. Because Prince Nassim Ahmed, he was unorthodox, and he thrived on his power and his loud mouth. So when he fought someone like Barrera, they thought he was going to knock out Barrera. Barrera beat that ass bad.
Yeah.
He fought one more fight after that, and he was out. It was done.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you finally step up. You really step up in competition.
Right.
Guys, you keep talking about, well, you know, he got to 40, how many knockouts he has? 41, 42?
I think so. A lot.
But still, you gotta context.
Yeah.
Right. Who? Because, you know, you be like, Joshua didn't fight nobody, but he's fighting top 10. He beat Povetkin. Knocked out Povetkin, actually. He knocked out who? He knocked out Klitschko. He beat unifying folks. He beat Joseph Parker. He beat Charles Martin when he was the champ.
Now, why couldn't Wilder do all that? Why couldn't Wilder do any of that? Why couldn't Wilder do half of that?
Who has a better record?
Of course.
Like 20 fights, 21 fights.
Yeah. But I mean, when you do things like that, that's why he got the money. You know, the foundation, just like your father, Golden Olympian. So the foundation, you look at guys like Mark Breland, Oscar De La Hoya, you know, shouts out to Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones. They should have been gold, but they were cheated. Now they were cheated, but see, you know, Anthony Joshua, those guys like that, those gold Olympians, they have a foundation already laid down. That's the foundation. So they're already starting on the good foot. Right? They have an edge. So the expectations are more, the better.
That when you come in with a gold medal and you're known as a great amateur, you most likely make more money than somebody that usually, you know, he was a decent amateur coming in, but like I think my dad, if you watch, it was an old interview. My dad made $100,000 his first fight. So that's
right.
You get it's a little bit better when you're a gold medal coming out the Olympics.
Well, yeah. See, Wilder being a bronze is kind of like you're Olympian, but it doesn't mean the same.
Work himself up. But even when he became champion, you think like when he became champion, he would start fighting the top. Wasn't.
Well, yeah, and see, it shows a lot though. You know what I'm saying? It's almost walking into a place with bad credit and swearing you're gonna pay your bill on time if you get a cell phone. You're not gonna do that, or you get a piece of furniture and you got bad credit. I got a 400 credit score. Going to a place saying, "Hey man, I want to buy a couch." They're gonna tell you, "You want to buy this couch set, dude? You got to pay a deposit." Boxing, the same thing. With Wilder, he came out because he was knocked out in the Olympics, right?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, the guy was a Russian guy. He's undefeated right now. His name is Romanov Evgeny, a Russian guy. He stands about 6'2". He looks like a little Drago, right? And he tapped that ass. And he beat Wilder. That's why Wilder is the bronze. He's bronze by default. So just a little cheat sheet for you. So when he came out, he needed your father. Okay, because JD's needed to mold and shape this guy like he wanted to. And I think what Jay did was he brought your father in to show him the things that he knew he didn't know, learn those things, not really practice them, but learn them, just know them, just to keep him on board.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take over from here. Thanks. You don't need to show him anything more. Holy shit, this guy's strong as shit. He's got a straight right hand that'll knock anybody out. So let's market that. And it was good because he became known as the hardest puncher in boxing history, right? But that's how they market things. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be. You just, look. He's the most dangerous, right? So you just need somebody to co-sign that. So if you can get somebody to co-sign that, which Fury did, he was like, "Oh, he's the hardest puncher in boxing history, no doubt about it." Because you let yourself get hit with a guy that had one punch. That's on you. Thanks for being too cocky. He would have walked off with that first fight.
Even Tyson Fury said I remember he was talking to I think it was David Hay in an interview. He said, "I'll be honest with you. If Tyson Fury loses against Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury's a bum." Speaks for itself.
But do you understand? Wilder spent a lot of time in England at once upon a time. He sparred David Hay. David Hay gave him the business. He was 26 at the time, to be fair. David Hay was, David Hay's like my age, like late 30s. So yeah. But he fought a guy 19, Hergovic. Mm-hmm. It was floating around for a while. Like he was fighting Hergovic. To be fair though, Hergovic was 19, he was 26.
Yeah.
So he probably still didn't really know a lot than what he knew. Probably, he didn't know a lot then.
He's grown, but he's not grown at the same time.
Right.
He hasn't had his man strength. Like he doesn't have his man strength yet. David Hay was a grown man, 26, experience and all of that. So, but David Hay, he's still a great fighter. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was the shit back then when he fought. He was the guy that people were talking about. So man, it's great that your father is still training. And that was my main concern, because damn all the rumors and the lies, it's about how a person gets past that on both sides. How does your father get past it? And how does Wilder get past it? You know what I mean? Where do they go from here? Yeah, he's good. He's with Malik Scott, another prodigy of Kronk's gym, right? And your father, he's training Evander Holyfield's son. And I don't know, what's the other guy's name?
Dominic
Crowder. So that's something, guys, we can definitely look out for. And look, hopefully you can turn pro if you want to. You got other things going, so I get it. This is a sport that I love that I hate so much. So, you don't want to get into it and people expect more from you than other people. Does your dad train you harder because you're his son?
Yeah. Like he doesn't, like what he was doing with Deontay when he wasn't speaking up, like with me, no. He gonna make sure I get it down.
Gotcha.
I guess because he can talk to me however really he wants to. You know what I mean?
So is your dad stern on you? Is he kind of hard on you? What do you think?
He's stern, like it's like let's say I'll do good in sparring one day. You know what I mean? I'll probably beat the dude up. It'd be like I get up there and be like, all right, good, all right. Literally, that's all he says. I get upset too. I'm not gonna lie. It gets me.
Oh, okay. Because he don't give you the credit you think you deserve.
Like it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? People like, all right, you did all right. You did cool.
Well, you don't want to pump your head up, man. I think that's what it is. It's like,
He's always done that with just his fighters in general. He's never really like, dang, you look good. No, he's always like, oh, you did good. Yeah. So quiet, man.
We got a question for you by Mr. Halim. Wait a minute now. There you go. Who's your favorite boxer?
Shoot, I have a lot, man. But I know he gets a lot. I'm kind of disappointed in him right now too. But damn, I do like Errol Spence, but I am disappointed in him, man. But
Why are you disappointed in Errol Spence?
It's like I keep hearing about Canelo. Bro, forget Canelo right now. Fight Terence Crawford, man. I want that. I want to see that fight. Forget Canelo. The Canelo's he has bigger fish to fight. He has to fight. He's trying to He's trying to become undisputed at 168.
Right.
I'm like, don't you want to become undisputed at 137? Let's get this fight. Beat Terence Crawford, because that's the only other fight you want to see. Okay, yeah, you fight guys, yeah, you get the other title. That's cool. I want to see. Everybody wants to see Terence Crawford. We want to see the Terence Crawford fight. We really want to see who the best was.
Yeah, I want to see that fight too, but I don't think that fight's going to happen, man. That's going to be another fight that didn't happen. And if it did, it would probably be, by the time it happens, Anthony, that shit'll either be somebody that took a loss by somebody that they didn't intend to lose by. It's going to be like some Manny Pacquiao Mayweather shit. Manny got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez, waiting for a fight or a potential fight at everybody. Look, there's been people died waiting for that fight, man. I had a first cousin. He passed away, God bless the dead. But we used to talk about that fight all the time. He never saw that fight. He died before the fight even happened. So there you go. That's what happens, man. I mean, you know.
See, I just fight, man, because I like a lot. He's been my favorite fight for years. But this thing, he's pulling, man. It's crazy. See, I'm not biased. I'll tell you how it is, man. I don't like what he's doing.
Well, I think Errol Spence, I think he's, like a lot of those guys, they start to smell themselves and they start looking at each other bigger than they really are.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, they don't want to take the money. They think they need more money. They think they're entitled to more money. And I think that's what deals with their own personality, their own egos is what really hurts them and their legacy and the sport and the banking account. Because let's say Errol Spence goes in there with somebody like Ugas. Those guys, I think Errol Spence is better, but Ugas is very skilled.
Yeah.
Now let's say Ugas goes in there and upsets Errol Spence. Then what the fuck? Then what do you got then?
He could do that.
Ugas is nobody to fucking play with, man.
Yeah, he isn't. I'm be honest with you though. Ugas is he don't get the respect he deserves. But we don't want to see Ugas versus Crawford. We want to see Spence versus Crawford. That's why I'm like, Spence. I'm like, you keep hearing, like, you keep saying you're gonna beat him. I'm going for you in that fight, but you gotta do it. I gotta see it.
Yeah, will he fight him though? Yeah.
I gotta see it. I have to see. Man, I'm not believing nothing until I actually see them at the press conference and all of that. So I don't believe any talks.
Well, do you know Ugas beat Crawford in the amateurs, right?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Ugas beat Crawford in the amateurs.
Ugas, he can really upset anybody. To be honest with you, he could beat Crawford. He really could. It's possible. He could beat Spence.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with that Porter fight.
Dude, he dropped Porter. I don't care what people say. He dropped Porter. He dropped Porter. And who was the referee, though?
I'm trying to remember. Kenny, was it Tony?
I believe it was Kenny. I believe it was Kenny.
You know who I get? I get him and Tony Weeks confused because they're always the ones reffing they always reffing the fights. I'm gonna tell you how you
can like split them up. This is the difference. Tony Weeks looks like a light-skinned Mr. T.
Yeah.
Kenny Bayless is like a skinny black cat that's kind of froggy.
Yeah.
Let me see, because I believe that was let me see. I can tell you in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, that wasn't Ugas. That was Jack Reese. Same guy. Yeah, the same guy that Well, that was a good fight, though. He went toe to toe with, and you know what? He targeted Sean Porter's body too. He's a good body puncher.
He's a
It's
really
going to
good.
be a good fight.
Yeah, it is. They both body punchers. You know what I mean? All I know is I hope Spence doesn't go in there thinking, hey, I'm gonna just walk through this dude because you're gonna lose if you do that. He said Luis Ortiz is 60.
He hardly touched the last boxer.
That fight was kind of fishy, right?
Yeah, that dude Alexander Flores took a dive. He did a Malik Scott. Him and Malik Scott, they dived. Look, those cats jumped in the same. They took the same diving course once upon a time. They taught each other how to dive, you know, and that because there was no excuse for him falling the way he fell.
Yeah,
it just
acting like he got shot, man. I'm like, man, because you see the replay, people are like, where did he really hit him? He hit him on the glove.
Well, you know, you heard the explanation from Lennox Lewis. Oh, it was a floating rib shot. Yeah, it was a floating rib shot. Yeah, that's what happens when you get hit with a floating rib shot, man. Yeah, big up England, man. That's what happened. I've seen that again. I've seen it from time to time. You know, I mean, and when he got hit, I mean, it just a floating rib shot, man. It's very powerful, but it doesn't look like anything. Man, get the fuck out of here with that, man. Oh man.
Joshua too. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. I really like Joshua. I like him.
Yeah, he's kind of a hard guy not to like.
I like him. I think he's a good dude. He's a good fighter. You know what I mean? He looks like a heavyweight champ.
Yeah, he has the what do you call it? The he definitely has the image. You know, yeah. He has the image. You could see it. Like, dude, yeah, like you said, he looks like a heavyweight champ. You know, Halim Bostan, Anthony. Who do you got? AJ or Fury?
Now, I've told people this, people get surprised by my answer, but I said AJ by knockout.
Wow. What do you think he's going to hit him with?
Uppercut coming in. He has a great uppercut. Maybe. My thing is, Fury, I don't think Fury's going to be able to do what he did against Deontay. Not going to be able to do that because it's Deontay, he doesn't know how to fight the back foot. He had a jab. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have skills. So it's really easy to do that to somebody that doesn't have skills. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to Joshua. I'm be honest. I think Joshua is going to catch him coming in or something. And Joshua's going to go to the body, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I see him targeting the body. I see that, you know, because I haven't picked a winner yet.
I'm like, people don't realize if you really go to the body, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. There's no way. Yo, Joshua, man, he's gotten way better. After I seen that Poulet fight, he really got better.
Yeah, he learned a lot from that Ruiz fight, definitely.
His jab more. That right hand way better. That uppercut, well, he's always had an uppercut, but yo, he's uppercutting out of him, man. Damn.
Yeah, ask Klitschko about that and Pulev.
Yeah, I see. I've always noticed he does this and comes up with the uppercut. I think that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, you better be careful because he will do that Klitschko shit and kind of clip you. And if you're in the range of it, he'll come right up with it. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's some Joshua shit. You gotta be careful because a lot of times people jab, you know, and a lot of times they move the jab and he catches you, you know. So if you move in, he can't hit you with that uppercut, you know. So I think a lot of those things people have to be wise of to know because you got to know your fighter. Just like Wilder with the rabbit punches and shit like that. Yeah, you know. What do you rate Anthony Joshua's jab?
His jab?
Mm-hmm.
I give it an 8, maybe 7.5, 8.
Because your father said he really doesn't jab. That's funny.
My dad is just listen, man. My dad he's very critical of these fighters nowadays. I don't know why. I think Joshua doesn't get the respect he deserves, man. I think he's a great fighter. My dad just, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know what it is. I think it's that old head mentality. You know what I mean? They just think they're just better than everybody, which you have the right to think. So
Well, I mean, he's earned his stripes, and I think what it is, he's always comparing his progress to the best part of his career since Anthony Joshua's in his prime.
like, come on, like Joshua's a really good fighter. I'm like he has the best resume in the division. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, why is he not getting like? Come on, Joyce.
Oh, did you see the Joyce Dubois fight?
Yeah, I'm not. I was never a fan of Dubois. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's gonna get found out eventually because he don't have any defense. When he fights somebody real, like exactly, Joyce. Well, do you think he quit?
Yeah, he quit.
Yeah, I think he did quit. I know his eye was messed up, but still.
I mean, it's like this. He quit, but like nobody can speak for him but him, because if he felt something sharp go through his head or his eye or whatever, because his eye was swole. You can't say it wasn't swole. And he was getting targeted by the eye. That fist was popping that eye. Would you wanted to pop like a ketchup packet or lose that eye? I think he did the right thing. I mean, he could have coasted, but he didn't have the experience to coast.
And I think they should just chill out on him a little bit because he's a young guy. He's in the beginning of his career. You don't want to risk him having no permanent eye injuries because you didn't want him to keep fighting.
Right.
Larry Holmes. Yeah, he always talks about Larry Holmes as dad.
That's like Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s favorite fighter, Larry Holmes. So yeah, Larry's high on the totem pole. And then look, here's the thing: Larry Holmes really didn't get the respect he deserved because he was always undershadowing Ali. Yeah. So it was one of those unfortunate things. Like he was known as Ali's ugly sparring partner. So
I have about like 10 more minutes because I gotta go do something after this.
No worries. We're just wrapping it up, man. Let's see. Or is it another fight that will happen? I don't know about that. But how close do we see AJ versus Fury? I hope it happens, but if not, we'll see something.
I don't believe anything.
True that, my brother. Anthony, thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for sharing your time. I'm gonna look. This is live, so it's right at you. You know what I mean? Anytime you want to sit down and chop it up, you're always welcome. Everybody from the chat, say goodbye to Mr. Breland, the second coming. And everybody on the chat, you guys have been Counterpunch. Have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.